Let's check out the Edmonton Oilers. Dregs, you want to jump on the Oil and what they may or may not do?
Yeah, well, I don't think Edmonton has the assets to do a whole heck of a lot between now and Monday. That's not to say they don't have a couple of interesting pieces. I think Alex Chiasson is a player of interest based on the unbelievable year that he's had. You know, one of the brighter spots in a team that's been through so much negativity yet again. Word on the street is that they're looking for a second and a prospect, or
I think.
Yeah, or depending on the quality of the prospect, or I guess depending on the pick as well. And Zach Cassian. I mean, again, teams going into the playoffs like to have a little bit extra bite. Calls are coming in on a regular basis on Darnell Nurse. They're not doing that. They're not going to take away from their 4 or 5 guys that they actually know that they've got who are decent players. So, Edmonton might be relatively quiet. The Jesse Puljujarvi thing, we're going to have to pay attention to, although it sounds like his injury is more of a longer-term thing. So he may not be a legitimate player of interest on Monday anyway. And it sounds like they want to keep their powder dry there and hope he goes to Bakersfield, hopes that he increases his trade value or his value to the team moving forward. So, sorry, Oilers fans. I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot coming on.
And even on the Chiasson thing, if Puljujarvi's injured, and did I see Puljujarvi is
he's hurt
well?
too, yeah.
They need some bodies.
Yeah.
They gotta finish the season here, and they're still trying to make the playoffs.
And I think they like the idea of signing him too. There have been discussions with Chiasson and his agent Pat Morris.
Right. So, which brings us to this next question. Hey, Bob, appreciate you taking time to read this. In your opinion, what would it take for the Oilers to trade Lucic, Chris Russell, and Andre Sekera? Seems impossible to do this, I know. Yes, it does. But it's funny because you start to blue sky things, and I don't want to. I want to make sure I don't get Kelvin here. But as I sit there having a glass of wine or maybe 6. Thinking, what are some creative ways that the Edmonton Oilers might be able to get out from underneath some of these contracts? And I'm thinking, no one's going to take Lucic's contract. And then I start to think, well, wait a second here. And we're going to have to see, and again, this is just flight of fancy stuff, but if Mark Stone's not back with the Ottawa Senators and Duchesne, and they're going to have to get to the salary cap floor. And they're going to have to... They may have to do some deals where they bring in money just to bring in money. But if you're going to do that, then look, you weaponize that ability to take other people's bad contracts.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Lucic. So, I'm just thinking out loud. If I were a general manager, I might go to, and I had plenty of room and didn't mind shelling out the money, and I've got to get to the cap floor. I might go to Edmonton and say, I tell you what, I'll take the Lucic contract from you. But I want Puljujarvi and something else to do it.
Yeah.
And that's how you get out from underneath it. And I don't know how Edmonton would feel about that. Maybe Puljujarvi's going to get traded anyways, but maybe they want an asset for him. But cap space is an asset. And if the new general manager comes in there and is hamstrung with all these contracts, it's going to be really difficult for them to turn the corner. But I'm not sure.
Well, is it interesting? A year ago, we were talking about how Bobby Ryan would have to be part of any Erik Karlsson trade at the deadline.
Yeah.
And now to your point, Bob, they probably need Bobby Ryan to stay in Ottawa, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we may talk later. I hear a lot of talk out of Tampa about Ryan Callahan's, contract. And I don't know that it would necessarily be done between now and the deadline. Probably not. But that. That's going to be a contract that they're going to have to move and give up an asset to get somebody to take it.
And I wonder if the Rangers would take it, just depending on where they're at. I think that there had been some discussion on that, but Ottawa's going to be fascinating from that perspective, right? Assuming, now, if they get Stone signed and, who knows, maybe they get Ryan Dzingel signed too. If not, if all 3 of those guys go, then again, you look at the cap scenario of the Ottawa Senators. So there's potential for a lot of it.